We are in an unfamiliar place, the countryside of Ain, a department in the northeast of France. With its vast expanses of forest, fields, and valleys, it is also home to a large population of wild boar, the #1 destroyer of agriculture. The spring air was still chilly. We joined the hunting party with the veteran hunters in the area. All members of the hunting team were divided into small groups, in charge of ambushing the trails where wild boars often move to the grass to feed. A hunt in the Ain would not be possible without the help of hunting dogs. They tracked the wild boar and chased the prey into the positions where we were ambushing. When the wild boar appeared in our sights, we quickly seized the opportunity and opened fire. With just one shot, the wild boar fell on the spot. Another wild boar moving right next to it also couldn't escape our bullets. In the distance, the barking of dogs mixed with the panting of wild boars. The wild boars were so exhausted from being chased by the dogs that they did not detect the positions where we had set up an ambush. A gunshot rang out. The wild boar fell down. However, the shot did not kill it immediately. I had to shoot another shot to completely take it down. Taking down multiple wild boars in one day is not a trophy, but it helps relieve pressure on local agriculture. Our hunt was part of a population control campaign planned by the Provincial Hunters Federation. Not only ambushing at one location, we often hunt for traces of wild boars to destroy them more effectively. When active in the field, wild boars often leave traces such as footprints and waste. Following these traces, we easily found the location of the wild boar herd. The size of this wild boar was relatively small, and it only took me one bullet to take it down. You see, the fastest way to kill a wild boar is to shoot it in the head or chest. This is the most basic thing that any hunter needs to know. Not only small wild boars are easy to kill, with just precise aiming, wild boars weighing tens of kilograms can also be killed with just one shot. As you can see, this wild boar is trying to escape the dogs. It runs past, giving me a great opportunity to shoot. With the perfect distance and position, I open fire. The gunshot pierces the quiet space as the boar falls. To hunt wild boars effectively, we often use 12 or 16 caliber rifles. They have high accuracy, making it easier to take down wild boars. You can also choose guns that are suitable for your terrain and habits. You see, I took down this wild boar with my familiar gun and quick actions. The wild boar fell after just one shot. You should also use a scope with good and clear vision for hunting pigs. The scope can see at a distance of 500 m, very suitable for any hunter. Thanks to these devices, we aim more accurately and improve our ability to kill wild boars. By late afternoon, we were back at base camp, and in order to catch the last wild boars of the day, we decided to lure them with food. Indeed, wild boars are very sensitive to the smell of food. They are no longer alert, which gives us an opportunity. A gunshot rang out in the middle of the quiet field. A pig collapsed on the spot. The other pigs started to panic and run away. At the end of the hunt, we rounded up the wild boars and took them to the local butchery. Some of them we cooked for dinner and everyone enjoyed. The journey ended with many memorable memories. We will probably hunt and aim a few more times to rescue farms. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to follow more videos.
It was late at night. Cold winds blew through the deserted fields outside the town, bringing with them a cold and wild feeling. Under the dim moonlight, Oliver and I picked up our bags, ready for a challenging wild boar hunt. We had hunted together at night many times, and they were all wonderful experiences. This trip required not only courage, but also vigilance and survival instinct. If you want to know what interesting things will happen, follow us now. Just as we were about to set off, a bold idea suddenly popped into my head. I wanted to use my own body to lure the wild boars closer. It sounded crazy. Oliver looked at me with a mixture of surprise and concern when I shared this idea. With the desire to conquer, I convinced my companion to carry out the plan. I sat quietly by the dense bushes, a loaded gun in my hand, my eyes tensely watching every movement. From a distance, the wild boars began to move, as if they had sense of a presence. Their dark skin was mottled with color, blending perfectly with the darkness. They moved towards in a herd, wariness unable to hide their curiosity. I could hear the growls coming from their throats, the characteristic sound of wild boars cautiously exploring their surroundings. A few minutes later, the wild boars appeared in front of me, very close, sharp fangs glinting in the moonlight, ready to tear apart anything that stood in their way. They stood there and looked at me, their small but bright eyes. My mind was struggling between two thoughts. Should I shoot immediately or let them come even closer? Then the wild boars faced the muzzle of my gun. Seizing the opportunity, I shot down the first one. The sound was as clean as the bullet cutting through the air. Immediately after, I adjusted my gun to fire a second shot before the other wild boars could run away. Our risky game ended like that. The result was the first two wild boars lying at our feet. After a few tense moments, we decided to walk along the grasslands to find the wild boars. In the quiet night, the sound of wild boars echoed. A wild boar with a distinctive spotted coat appeared. As the boar moved out of the bushes, its eyes were alert, and its speed was also relatively fast. Oliver started his mischievous prank again, calling the boar several times in a row. A strange sound suddenly rang out, attracting its attention. It stood still to observe, but that was also an opportunity for Oliver to shoot. A precise shot to the head finished off the wild boar. It struggled for a while and then lay still, so we had another great trophy. Immediately after that, we moved to a position next to a pond. There would definitely be wild boars coming here to drink water. This was also an ideal ambush location. As expected, a wild boar that had probably just finished drinking water was leisurely returning to the field. As it passed in front of me, I immediately opened fire to take it down. The fatal shot knocked the boar down. I had no chance to fire back. Tonight we had a few trophies, all of them extremely large. However, Oliver said he wanted to stop by his family's cow farm nearby. That's why we appeared here, next to the cows. Not only that, mixed with the cows, we also discovered boars rummaging through leftovers. Boars, with their huge size, thick fur and sharp eyes, didn't care much about our presence, even when I held a gun and stood right next to them. Until a soul discovered us, it seemed to have realized the danger. It continuously let out a warning growl, but it was too late. It had already entered my sights. As soon as it moved to an open space, I immediately opened fire and shot it down. This farm, wild boars were rummaging. We didn't say anything. Many people might mistake this for a herd of pigs raised on the farm. If you witness the terrible destruction when they plowed up the whole ground, you will understand why we had to hunt these pigs. In the midst of the wild boar noise, I spied another big fat boar. It was running fast across the grass, and it seemed to have sensed danger as well. As it ran back and forth in panic, I immediately took the opportunity to shoot. The headshot caused it to collapse and struggled with painful cries before it became completely still. It was another big boar. It seemed that all the boars in the area were this color. The game wasn't over yet, as Oliver and I had some unexpected mischief. We placed a loudspeaker that emitted a high-pitched screech right at the location where the boar had been shot. Soon the whole herd was attracted, and they quickly ran towards the screech. When the herd reached the top of the hill, they recognized the danger sign. Immediately, the herd turned around and ran away. Although the original plan didn't really work, I still managed to shoot and kill a boar when it stopped to observe. After midnight, we had to end the hunt because we had shot a lot of wild boars today. And of course, I will need some time to process these trophies. Thank you for following our journey. Please share your opinions in the comments. And Don't forget to like, share and subscribe and support the channel. Every time I set foot in Turkey and participate in wild boar hunting missions, I experience very special emotions. The hunters here always impress me with their professionalism, experience and courage. They often organize in large groups, hunt according to a plan, which significantly increases efficiency. Today, I will follow a group of hunters moving to a mountain in Anatolia to start hunting wild boars. Can I overcome this challenge? Let's see in this video. Wouldn't it be annoying if dirty and disease-carrying wild boars wandered around your neighborhood? This actually happens in residential areas in Turkey. Due to the overpopulation of wild boars, they are forced to come to the neighborhoods to find food. Nowadays, wild boars are no longer afraid of humans. They can roam the streets day and night. They have become a threat to residents, gardens and lawns. No one knows for sure whether they carry disease that can spread to pets or humans. Therefore, local authorities always encourage hunters to hunt wild boars to control the situation. Early September, I went to Turkey to participate in the new wild boar hunting season. Although wild boars can be hunted all year round, target hunting is more interesting. While we were ambushing on the top of the mountain, we discovered a large herd of wild boars moving at the foot of the mountain. The herd consisted of both large and small animals, running at a fairly fast speed. Immediately my gun went off, aiming at the last one of wild boar. Sudden shot caused the wild boar to fall down the slope. I had to fire a second shot to finish it off. It didn't take long for me to adjust my gun and return to hunting wild boars. The shots were aimed at 3 large wild boars with shiny grey-black fur. Other hunters didn't wait either. They aimed and fired at the same time. Unfortunately, the agility helped the wild boars escape.
Burada adam vardı değil mi? Kim vardı? Polis mi?
Our hunt had just begun, but it was already getting more exciting than ever. As the group walked along the slope, another herd of wild boars appeared below. Wild boars ran in long lines. Their size was impressive. Although the distance to the herd of the wild boars was quite far, we still carefully found a suitable shooting position. Just when we felt everything was ready, the gunshots began to ring out regularly. It was difficult to shoot accurately to such a long distance, so when though the herd of wild boars had lost track, we still couldn't take down any more targets. Things didn't go so smoothly, as most of the wild boars were at a very long distance and I had no way to shoot. Just then, another herd of wild boars appeared, this time with even more wild boars than before, and my excitement was heightened again. When they appeared in the right position, gunshots rang out immediately. Some unlucky wild boars that were taken down, but there were also many that escaped. letting the wild boars escape, we quickly chased after them. As soon as we reached the ideal ambush position, I immediately opened fire and took down the first running wild boar. After that, I continued with just the gun and shoot more. The herd of wild boars ran away in panic, hiding under the green trees and disappearing behind the hill. We were still determined to pursue the herd of wild boars to the end, when we discovered them running over a rocky mountainside. Gunshots rang out continuously. Each wild boar was hit and fell down the slope, making me unable to contain my excitement. The whole group observed carefully, not giving any wild boar a chance to escape. Therefore, every few minutes, gunshots rang out, signaling that more wild boars had been taken down. Passing another mountain range, the appearance of wild boars became more numerous. As soon as we discovered a herd of wild boars moving up the mountain, the other hunters and I did not hesitate to open fire. The dry grass of autumn could not hide the wild boars, so we easily observed and took them down one by one. Even the wild boars moving on the top of the high mountain, we did not ignore them. With just one shot, the giant wild boar rolled down the mountain, proving my perfect shot. Looking down from above at the field below, we quickly discovered the appearance of a herd of pigs. They moved very fast. A herd of nearly 10 large ones, extremely prominent. The whole herd quickly chased and opened fire. The hunting trip continued until the end of the day. Although the wild boars here were very large, it was not easy to hunt them. With a not so successful hunting day, I will need to rest and prepare carefully to continue the hunting trip tomorrow. Thank you for accompanying us on this trip. This was indeed a difficult but equally exciting hunting trip. Stay tuned for more adventures. See you in the next video.
You might think that winter slows wild boars down, driving them deep into the frozen forests. But in reality, it's during winter that they become more aggressive, unpredictable, and dangerous than ever. Right now, join us as we brave the freezing cold and engage in a thrilling wild boar chase. After receiving our assignment, the team quickly jumped into the vehicle and headed for the designated area. Wasting no time, we spread out and took positions to maximize our vantage point. In the distance, a dark silhouette slowly crept through the trees. Seizing the moment, my teammate and I closed in, one from above, one from below. With a volley of shots, the boar tried to escape but collapsed into the snow, fatally wounded. Our synchronized teamwork created a stunning opening success. clear tracks imprinted in the deep snow led me closer to a wild boar. Every second was thick with suspense. There it was, right in front of me. My heart pounded, I held my breath, took aim, and fired. Although quick and agile, the boar couldn't withstand 2 precise shots and dropped on the spot. Trekking through thick snow was no easy feat. Snow-laden branches tugged at every step. But the prey was ahead, and I couldn't back down now. The hound's barks echoed through the woods, urging me forward, fueling my resolve. Roughly 100 meters out, I stumbled upon another large herd. I crept forward, inching silently closer. My gun ready, I seized a moment of hesitation and fired. 2 went down instantly. The rest scattered like shadows.
Nu.
Step by step, we advanced across the frozen terrain toward a better vantage point. Suddenly, dark figures darted across our line of sight. I quickly raised my gun, held my breath, and pulled the trigger. The heavy body crashed into the snow, an impeccable shot that made all the effort worthwhile. Though the air was bitterly cold, our burning determination kept us warm. The dogs had cornered a boar herd and were driving them our way. I moved swiftly into position, took aim, and fired. The bullet sliced through dense branches and hit the target dead on. Despite our weariness, steam rising with every breath, the adrenaline of the hunt pushed us forward. Every successful shot gave us new strength. With my trusted rifle, the first shot sent the whole group into a frenzy. Still, I didn't give up. I kept firing. And just like that, our journey to hunt and conquer the wild boars comes to an end. What did you think of today's adventure? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intense hunts ahead. I am an ordinary person living at the foot of the Taurus Mountains in Turkey. For a long time, I have heard stories of the daring wild hog hunts on the mountain where only experienced hunters dare to step. Today, I decided to follow them to learn each step, how they ambush, and how they take down wild hogs. This trip is not just a hunting journey, but also my first challenge to step into the world of true hunters. In order to spot the wild hogs, our team arrived at the mountain peak early. I quietly followed Mr. Eugen, the skilled hunter, to the ambush position that had already been set up. While I was still focusing hard, his keen eye spotted a subtle movement among the distant bushes. Without hesitation, he took a precise shot that dropped the wild hog right on the spot. Before I could even process what had just happened, another shot rang out, leaving me astonished. He had just taken down another wild hog. The shot was absolutely perfect. That was the moment I truly admired Mr. Eugen's skill. After about 10 minutes of advancing with Mr. Eugen to a higher area, the hunting team began to show their expertise in an intense pursuit. Their hounds had picked up the scent and quickly surrounded the target. Without missing the opportunity, the hunters opened fire with a sense of urgency and total focus. However, with the dense forest obstructing the view, despite several rapid shots, the wild hog skillfully hid and managed to escape in a spectacular fashion. The wild hogs here are truly cunning, familiar with every tree and rock on the mountain. A hunt doesn't always end with a dramatic takedown. What's more important is the teamwork, perseverance, and the sense of being at one with nature. We continued to tackle harder challenges, climbing to the mountain peak, where the rugged rocks seemed to deliberately test our will. After waiting for several minutes, the first wild hog finally appeared. To my surprise, the hog seemed unafraid, staring at us as though challenging us. Then, as they quickly turned to run, Mr. Paul fired a strong, decisive shot. The hogs were eliminated in an instant. After walking just 50 meters more, we encountered another wild hog. As it barely raised its head, Paul immediately raised his rifle and fired. The resounding gunshot, followed by the hog's scream, marked the end of its life. I continued with Mr. Paul, driving after a wild hog down to the trail below. With his years of experience, he quickly figured out the hog's path, raising his rifle and waiting for it to appear. I held my breath, anxiously awaiting what would happen. Before the hog's head even emerged from the bushes, he fired several shots in quick succession. As I took a few steps forward, I was amazed to see the hog lying motionless there. The rain began to fall in the afternoon, but the team set out after a brief rest. Unlike the previous times, this time we ambushed right from the base of the mountain. I stood waiting for the prey with another professional hunter. Suddenly, from afar, 2 wild hogs charged toward us at a speed like the wind. Before I could even regain my composure, I saw the hunter quickly aim and fire, taking down both targets. The situation happened so fast that it made me feel a little scared, and I took a step back. But the hunter remained calm, his gaze steady, and his stance unwavering. It must be said that a hunter's mindset must be as firm as steel in every situation. From the mountaintop, we scanned the area, searching for traces of the prey. It wasn't difficult to spot, as on the opposite side of the mountain slope, several wild hogs were running away. There they were. A whole herd of about 10 was charging. After a few minutes of observation and signaling to my teammates, the hunters quickly took position. Though the hogs were running at incredible speed, with years of experience, the hunting team was able to take accurate shots. Watching each wild hog fall, I also felt incredibly exhilarated. The higher we climbed, the more our view expanded. This was an advantage when it came to observing and tracking prey through the rugged terrain. Mr. Paul quickly spotted a wild hog hiding behind some bushes on the opposite slope. The distance was relatively far, but he remained unfazed, raising his rifle, aiming directly, and pulling the trigger. The shot rang out sharply, and the hog fell, rolling down the slope to its death within seconds. Near that spot, another wild hog was also quickly eliminated, once again showcasing the precision and reflexes of the hunting team. A day following wild hogs in the wild mountains not only brought me thrilling, intense experiences, but also taught me lessons in patience and the courage of the hunters. The hunt has ended, but its echo will stay with me forever. Thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Although I've encountered many invasive species before, wild boars remain among the most destructive and persistent creatures I've ever faced. They not only ravage crops, but also test the patience of even the most seasoned hunters. Today, we return to a familiar mission, but with a twist. This time, we're hunting wild boars from the sky, aboard a helicopter. A thrilling, breathtaking, and visually stunning journey awaits. Let's dive into this spectacular hunt together. Taking off early in the Robinson, our 44 helicopter, we quickly stabilized our position, gripping our rifles firmly and ready for action. The rotor blades sliced through the air, mixing with the echo of gunfire from Linda and me, creating an intense atmosphere midair. From above, we had a clear view of the terrain, targeting the boars frantically dashing across the fields below. However, their incredible speed and ability to change direction meant that some required multiple shots before they were finally taken down. The helicopter kept circling, moving toward the central area. On the ground, wild boars of all sizes were scrambling to escape. We didn't give them a chance to flee. Lowering our altitude, we aimed at the familiar dark figures. A barrage of bullets followed. Just like that, several more candidates were added to the takedown list. Thick bushes are always a favorite hiding spot for wild boars, giving them cover after every chase. As the herd panicked and scattered, they weaved through the dense underbrush, but from our aerial view, none of their movements could remain hidden. After a few missed shots early on, I regained my composure and shooting rhythm. Shot by shot, my aim improved, and no matter how agile they were, the boars eventually fell to precise, decisive fire from above. After a short lunch break, the helicopter roared back to life and we resumed our pursuit. As soon as the first target appeared, I didn't hesitate. I pulled the trigger and dropped it in an instant. A large herd of wild boars became our next opponents. They tried to scatter and escape, but it was no use. The helicopter locked in, closed the gap, and one by one, each target was taken down. In just a few minutes, nearly the entire herd was wiped out, a clear testament to the superior effectiveness of aerial hunting over traditional ground methods. The helicopter swiftly turned toward a vast open field. Holding our altitude, we focused intensely and locked onto our targets. The boars split up, sprinting in all directions in sheer panic. It was the perfect moment. Gunfire erupted, each bullet fired with precision and force. Each hit caused the boars to stumble, tumble across the field, and lie still, ending their trail of destruction in an instant. Look at that, another herd, this time even larger, probably over 20 strong. Our entire team locked in and unleashed a barrage of fire. In a matter of seconds, gunshots echoed rapidly, and boar after boar dropped across the field. There was no escaping fate. Just when we thought the hunt was over, we stumbled upon a few stragglers on the way back to the rendezvous point. With a single shot, they dropped where they stood, motionless. This hunting trip wrapped up with a series of incredibly satisfying takedowns. Wild boars kept falling, so many that we eventually lost count. Still, that number barely made a dent compared to how fast this species can multiply. practice to make drop your thoughts on the help. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.
After harvesting the crops, I and the people farmers in the area organized a wild boar hunting trip. We all understand the devastation caused by wild boars here, because in the past season many crops in the fields were destroyed by them. Damage caused by wild boars always haunts farmers. Therefore, we are even more determined to destroy these destructive wild boars. Let's join us on this journey. Wild boars have an extremely fast reproductive rate. Each sow can give birth to dozens of piglets. After just a few months, the piglets will become a herd of adult pigs, each weighing hundreds of kilograms. It is not difficult to imagine the scene that will happen when this herd of pigs invades the fields. They not only gnaw and destroy the crops, but also seriously destroy the ecosystem. Consumption of garbage also causes a lot of trouble for humans. In recent years, wild boars have often invaded the city, where they can easily find food. Therefore, farmers and hunters like us have to work hard to protect our property. Today's hunting trip, in addition to farmers, they were also professional hunters. The whole group quickly headed towards the mountain, and immediately the wild boars panicked and scattered. Wild boars live in herds, so we could easily determine their direction. With the help of experienced hunters, a series of continuous shots rang out, aimed straight at the herd of pigs charging up the mountainside. Although they were scared, they still tried to follow the leader. This is typical behavior of wild boars. With close coordination, nearly 10 wild boars were taken down. The power of teamwork is truly not to be underestimated. From within the dry grass, a herd of wild boars ran away in panic. Leading the way was the sow, followed by piglets trying to chase after her. We always aimed to exterminate the sows, because they were the biggest cause of the increase in the number of wild boars. A sow could give birth to dozens of piglets, and every year the number of wild boars would increase significantly. The sound of gunfire echoed throughout the mountains and forests. The herd of pigs wriggled through the dense grass, but could not escape the fierce pursuit. After only a few minutes, each wild boar fell. Amidst the sound of gunfire and the chaotic barking of dogs, a herd of wild boars was chased out of their hiding place. Dozens of wild boars, led by a leader, began to cross the hills. We couldn't miss this great opportunity, so we immediately aimed our guns at the herd and shot. Some died, but the rest quickly ran away. Few wild boars were separated from the herd, so we also took careful aim. Determined to exterminate the wild boars, we chased them across the mountains. The herd of wild boars had greatly decreased, and they continued to run away. It was a long journey, but we didn't give up until we exterminated them all. In this desolate countryside, wild boars often come close to residential areas to forage, to a deserted location with a wide view to prepare for an ambush. Suddenly, from afar, I spotted a wild boar rushing down the mountainside, with smooth fur and muscular body, running as fast as the wind, feeling nervous. I quickly focused all my mind on the target, aimed accurately and pulled the trigger. The gunshot echoed in the quiet space. The wild boar was finished off with the first shot. Although we were quite tired, we still tried to follow the target. We all hoped to kill as many as wild boars as possible. The tension and desire to win did not lessen with every step we took. From the top of the mountain, I looked into the distance, searching for traces of prey. It was not difficult to see that on the other side of the mountain there were a few wild boars running away. Here they were, not too crowded, but each wild boar was big and fat, with extremely scary black fur. These wild boar were not only strong, but also extremely dangerous, wild instincts ready to attack at any time. After a few minutes of careful observation, I signaled to my teammates and the chase began. Although the distance was quite far, with many years of experience, I was still able to aim and shoot accurately. Every time I took down a wild boar, I felt more and more excited. When the wild boar ran into the dense forest, we did not hesitate to chase it. Carefully detecting the wild boar hiding, I also chose a favorable shooting angle and opened fire. One afternoon, we hunted quite a few wild boars. Most of them were quite large in size, some were extremely giant, making everyone excited. After the hunting trip, I had a lot of fun and a great experience. Although the number of wild boars in our area is still very large, with my efforts, I believe that we will soon control the number of wild boars. Thank you for following this journey. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next hunting trip.
Have you ever wondered how thrilling it would be to hunt wild boars with a bow and arrow? No deafening gunfire, no long-range advantage, just me, my bow, and a massive beast lurking deep in the forest. This time, I'm facing the largest wild boar I've ever encountered, a true giant with razor-sharp tusks and a thick, rugged coat. A single mistake, and I could become the hunted instead of the hunter. But can just one arrow be enough to take down this formidable beast? Watch until the very last second. This is going to be a heart-pounding battle for survival. Wild boars belong to the Suidae family and are widely distributed across Europe, Asia, North Africa, and North America. They are the ancestors of domesticated pigs and are known for their remarkable ability to survive in the wild. Not only do they thrive in forests and vast fields, but they can also inhabit swamps. Boars are excellent swimmers and often wade through shallow waters to bathe in mud, cooling their bodies while protecting themselves from parasites. These swampy areas provide an abundant food source, including roots, tubers, insects, frogs, fish, and carrion. Dense swamps serve as an ideal hiding place, shielding them from human activity and predators like wolves and bears. However, their excessive reproduction has led to severe ecological damage. We couldn't just stand by and watch, we had to take action immediately. As sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, we embarked on a challenging hunt, this time armed with bows instead of firearms. Following faint tracks imprinted in the soft mud, we spotted a large, healthy boar, weighing around 80 kilograms, foraging obliviously. This was our chance. My partner tightened his grip on the bow. The arrow was in position, only waiting for the perfect moment. Suddenly, the boar sensed something. It raised its head, eyes glinting with suspicion, and then bolted like a whirlwind. The first shot missed. Damn it, it escaped. We continued tracking, determined to seize another opportunity. Patience, that was the key to victory in this battle between man and nature. And after a nerve-wracking pursuit, the beast finally fell. Our hunt didn't stop there. Over the next 2 hours, we secured several more successful kills. Venturing deeper into the swamp, the muddy terrain made maneuvering difficult, especially with a bow. We positioned ourselves high in the trees for better concealment and a perfect vantage point. Below, an automatic feeder had been set up, acting as the perfect bait to lure in unsuspecting wild boars. As expected, it didn't take long before an entire herd arrived, drawn by the scent of food. They rustled through the mud, eagerly searching for scattered corn. I quietly raised my bow, aiming for the largest and strongest one in the group. My focus sharpened as I prepared for the decisive shot. The first arrow flew, but missed. The entire herd panicked and scattered. The dominant boar, the strongest of them all, vanished into the dense brush. Luckily, the smaller ones hadn't gone far. The lingering scent of food tempted them back. This was our second chance. I pulled back the bowstring, eyes locked onto my target, and released. But no! Another miss. Frustration surged through me, but I reminded myself, bow hunting has never been easy. Determined to redeem ourselves, we set out again the next day, ready for another thrilling chase. And there they were, for wild boars, a promising target. This time, our meticulous preparation gave us the upper hand. I took a deep breath, drew back my bowstring, and took aim. The arrow shot like lightning, striking the boar dead center. It thrashed violently before collapsing. A surge of triumph coursed through me. The tension and anticipation melted away, replaced by sheer exhilaration. The morning sun cast golden beams over the vast swamp, painting the scene with a raw, untamed beauty. The air was crisp, carrying the earthy scent of damp soil. I locked onto my target, a massive boar digging through the dirt, completely unaware of the danger looming. To maximize our chances, we waded into the swamp, mud sucking at our boots as we moved closer. But the boar, cunning as ever, suddenly changed direction, forcing us to quicken our pace. My heart pounded with every step. Then, a moment of truth. I cut ahead, blocking its path. My grip tightened on the bow, my breath steady. There was no room for hesitation. I aimed at its weak spot and let the arrow fly. A perfect shot. The beast fell instantly. Our specialized vehicle rumbled through the muddy terrain, bringing us deeper into hunting grounds. Without delay, the team set up bait and prepared for an intense showdown. After over an hour of patient waiting, the first boar appeared, moving cautiously toward the trap. Peering through binoculars, we spotted an entire herd following its trail, closing in. My pulse quickened as I gripped my bow, pulling the string back to full draw. The arrow whistled through the air, striking true. Got it. But the hunt wasn't over. Seizing the opportunity, we continued claiming our prizes. Tonight would be a true feast. In the end, a single precise arrow was all it took to bring down the colossal wild boar in an instant. This hunt was both thrilling and exhausting, but we were proud of what we accomplished. Our relentless efforts played a crucial role in managing this destructive wild species. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.